What's going on, everybody? Wolf94. So I decided to show my Rayeels deck. I did a Rayeels deck profile many months ago. It was the first deck I probably did, first deck profile I probably did when it comes to Pokemon anyway. But that was kind of a different build, not very good. It was mostly an experimental build. I ran cards like Battle Compressor and didn't really run Ultra Ball and what have you. This is a more conventional version. I've been running it for a long time. Of course, it's been updated with many new cards and stuff like that, but it's based around the main, I guess you could say, Rayeels deck that I use. It's a deck you've seen in most of my Rayeels decks when I do good and bad, but it's a very good deck and it works. So if you don't know, Rayeels basically revolves around Electric. This Pokemon is a very good support energy acceleration Pokemon with Dynamotor. Basically, once per turn, you can grab a lightning energy from the discard pile, attach it to one of your benched Pokemon. So there's obviously many different attackers you can take advantage of with this card. Mostly lightning, but other types of attackers too. But one of the best ones, if not the best one, has always been Rayquaza EX. This is quite an old card at this point from Dragons Exalted 5 to 6 years ago. I'm not sure if it was in 2011 Dragons Exalted came out, but yeah, it's still good though because Dragon Burst has that sort of unlimited ceiling. Uh, it can knock out whatever the hell it wants if you discard the necessary fire or lightning energy. So in this case, we're going to be discarding lightning energy. And if you discard 4 lightning energies, 240 damage. That knocks out basically almost any GX, EX Pokemon, whatever you want to kill, this guy can. And yeah, that's basically it. You just attach energies and knock things out. So I run 2 of this guy. I've always been fine running 2. You can run 3 if you like. It wouldn't be bad at all to run 3. But I have space for other attackers too, and techs and stuff. I've always gotten away with 2. There's also ways to recover this guy as well. And you kind of want to use him and get the job done. Use him, get a one-hit knockout at least before he dies or something. So this is how you run this guy. Now there's also Shining Rayquaza from Shining Legends. That's also a very good card, similar to this card. In ways better and in ways worse, but you can try it out if you want to as well. It works with this deck. It works with Electric too. I don't have it. If I did, I was definitely going to use it. Maybe like as a one of, or maybe remove another one of the attackers here, or just make a straightforward Magnezone deck with him in standard, to be honest. Okay, so for other Pokemon EX, we run Raikou EX. This is also very old, even older than Rayquaza from Dark Explorers. And this Pokemon isn't really that super great. It's mostly a tech and has a magic touch that can win you the game a lot of the times. But he's mostly kind of like a magic touch Pokemon. So what I mean by that is Volt Bolt. So this card is basically a snipe for 100. You discard lightning energy, but being able to snipe is very useful. You can do all sorts of things, win you the game in many cases. People mostly use this for Garbodor. You basically use this to knock out Garbodor, and then maybe, hopefully, you don't have to worry about his ass. Because that guy shuts your powers, abilities, I mean, and you need your abilities. Most of these Pokemon need a lot of energy to attack and do what they're supposed to do. And if you lose your abilities, you kinda lose. So this is why he's here. Uh, Thunderfang, maybe you use this sometimes. I guess if you open with him early, it's one of the earlier attacks, I guess, that we have in this deck. Solid ass Pokemon overall. For other attackers, we got the regular Raikou too. Uh, this Pokemon is right at home in a deck like this with Thunderlance. It's going to do more damage times the lightning energies you have on him. Very solid Pokemon all around. Basic Pokemon, good HP, nice ability in Shining Body, will help him last longer. Metal Resistance, only one retreat. He's just solid overall. These used to be Zekrom from Black and White, and that guy still has certain things going for him over Raikou, but overall I feel like Raikou is the better card right now. But if you do want to run Raikou, if you do want to run Zekrom, it wouldn't be bad, to be honest. He basically replaced Zekrom for me in this deck, but he does have certain advantages over this guy. For our last lightning attacker, we have Zapdos. This Pokemon is mostly here because of varying weaknesses. This Pokemon is not weak to fighting, is weak to lightning, and in fact resists fighting too. And it's just another good basic lightning Pokemon. 120 HP, can do Raging Thunder for 120, and Drill Peck is actually the early attack that we can use. If we open with this guy, we can attack early, and sometimes that can be significant. That can make a difference. And Raging Thunder, it does damage our guys, but we don't have to worry about this much because, as you guys know, I usually run Mime in my decks. 90% of my decks have Mime in them. And if we can't use Mime, uh, there's another trick with this guy. You probably know it as well, but we'll get to it later. And for the last sort of tech attacker, we have the regular Rayquaza from Dragon's Vault, and as a secret rare from Dragon's Exalted. This Pokemon is also quite old. I used to run two of this guy. It was a nice little trick. You use this against other Rayquaza EXs and other Dragon weak Pokemon, because with Shred you can do 180, not affected by effects and shit, so there wouldn't be any tricks. And people mostly in Rayeels, Boar decks and stuff like that would run one, so I would go with two to get that one up over them. If anything else failed, it was a good wall Pokemon, just a solid basic Pokemon anyway. And you know, uh, you would ditch it maybe with a Juniper or Ultra Ball. It doesn't matter. But these days, there's a lot of varying decks and not as many, Dragon Week Pokemon and stuff. So I don't feel like two is necessary. One is enough. Also, against power and stuff like that. But yeah, nowadays one is enough. Gets the job done. Solid basic Pokemon. Okay, so in Rayeels decks, one of the things you have to take account is that Electric can only put energies on your guys on the bench. So you need to have a way to have board control and switch and stuff like that. And Keldeo X has always been number one at this aspect. With Russian, we can become active. We put a float stone on this guy, and you power up any attacker you want, and then you retreat. As long as he has the float stone and can rush in, you basically have full control over the board. People would usually run two, I believe, just in case one is prized or he dies and what have you. I always ran one and got away with it. Two can clog, and this deck really is pushed with space on the bench and stuff like that. I I run Mime, and there's also Taboo Laila and stuff as well. So yeah, it wouldn't be bad to run two. Do it if you want to, but I've always been okay with one, and I have other ways to sort of switch around and do stuff, so I don't necessarily always have to rely on him. You time your manual attaches right, you should be good as well. Speaking of Taboo Laila, this is of course one of the latest additions ever since Guardians Rising came out. This is a fantastic card. Unlike Jirachi EX, this Pokemon has good HP and a good attack as well. It is a great addition in this deck. Helps us with consistency. We can also attack with him, like I've said, with Energy Drive. It actually helps me a lot. Sometimes I actually use him, and he helps me in the game to win stuff. You put a bunch of lightning energies on him. Energy Drive is a good attack. Very good Pokemon, indeed. So these are the Pokemon. So for my trainer skeleton, uh, of course we're going to run computer search. This card is amazing in general, but is even more amazing in a deck like this, where we want to ditch our lightning energies and set up our discard pile for Dynamotor. You can run Dowsing Machine too. These are probably the best options, Computer Search and Dowsing Machine. When I didn't have Computer Search, I did run Master Ball. It was cool. You would grab Rayquaza and anything you want, and even Taboo Laila in this case. But Computer Search is your best bet in this deck. Of course, there's Ultra Balls too. This is our Computer Search only for Pokemon. You can grab us whatever the hell we want, to be honest. Uh, Taboo Laila to grab a supporter, or the Rayquazas, anything basically. And ditches lightning energies to the discard pile. So for our other balls, we got level ball and nest ball. This used to be for level ball, but now that we can use nest ball, we run one of these. You could do two if you want to, but I mean, with level ball, you mostly would search the Dynamos anyway. Uh, I do want to have ways to search the electrics too. It wouldn't be bad. It would be bad to run two level ball. It will probably get the job done too, but I feel like three is better for me. I mean, we got the ultra balls. We even got computer search. If I really want to search Rayquaza or whatever the hell, we got ways to do it. So one nest ball, three level ball, fine. Uh, Professor's Letter, this is a very important card too. I like to run two. Yu-Gi-Oh style, we do this, we add lightning energies, ditch them with Ultra Ball, with Juniper, Computer Search, set up our discard pile. Very good. Thinzo deck, all around excellent card. And this is also helpful because we need to search our fire energies. The couple of fire energies that we have, we want to get them so that Rayquaza can attack. Uh, Trainer's Mail, I've never been a fan. I always run one. I like one, but I've never been a fan of running more of this card, just in case I reveal it and there's nothing, else. Uh, in general, I'm not a fan of chance cards. This is why I don't really like Max Elixir very much, even though it's a good card as well. But Trainer's Mail, trainers are bigger skeletons in our decks. It's half my deck in this case. So it's mostly, you play this, I'll get something most of the time. So just one, very good. So we got Recovery to the Hand with VS Seeker for supporters and Super Rod for recovery for the deck. I wish I could run Rescue Stretcher, but there's not really space. If I would run Rescue Stretcher, I would probably take out Super Rod, and I do want to have a way to recycle maybe fire energies, or maybe recycle some eels. Sometimes maybe we have to ditch one and what have you. So I feel like in this case, Super Rod is superior. Um, Maybe I will run Stretcher, because actually Stretcher can also recycle a bunch of Pokemon too anyway. Not just in the hand, but Super Rod can grab fire energies too back in our deck, and you never know when that can be important. So I feel like it's okay. It has always worked out fine. You can run Stretcher if you want to, though. It would not be a bad idea at all. And for other cards, I guess for our switching cards, you do have to run double Floatstone. You want to make sure you have one at least for Keldeo. Maybe you can put one on an eel if you have to, or somebody. But you want to have one for Keldeo. I do run double switch as well. Normally I run one switch in my decks, but in this case, that one extra switch, that can help us. And for stadiums, I'd run one Sky Arrow Bridge, and the Rough Seas. The Rough Seas are the way, I guess, to minimize damage from Zapdos if we do it. We would just hit one of our eels or something, and you heal it off. And in general, we have a bunch of lightning Pokemon that can take advantage of Rough Seas. Also helps with the little eels. Sometimes when they want to sort of hit them, maybe put damage counters them through Crobat and stuff like that, other methods, and they want to just slowly take them out. Uh, Rough Seas helps against that and basically negates that sort of strategy. And Sky Arrow Bridge, there's another way that kind of helps us not over rely on Keldeo. If I have Mime down or somebody else, I can just use this guy. When something gets knocked out, you promote one of these guys, attach your energies, and then retreat for free. Very good. And the last sort of trainers, well, I actually have more, but you need to have tool removal. And starting Megaphone and one Field Blower is what I do. This used to be 2 starting Megaphone, but Field Blower gives us that sort of extra flexibility with stadiums if we need to. So one of each is good. And I only run one sort of offensive, I guess you could say, tool because of space. Fighting for your belt. This can help make Rayquaza bigger, make it harder for people to kill him in one hit. And that 10 extra damage can kind of help against basic Pokemon with 130 HP. Kind of makes us not use the third sort of Dynamotor attachment. Or against 250 HP GX Pokemon. It's a nice little card we can use. You can also put it on Raikou and stuff. It's great. My supporters are kind of standard. The 3 Ians and the 3 Junipers are standard. The 1 Scala as well. You don't need to run a lot of Scalas in this deck. It's not like we really want rare candy like in Raybor. There's a bunch of good shit trainers that items that you can grab, but 1 is enough. I have my Lysander, of course. You gotta have this guy. And Chorus, standard as well, pretty good. And Lily, I run this in this deck. Is right at home, to be honest. It can help very much first turn, honestly. There's Ultra Ball, there's Computer Search, there's so many ways to ditch and like put cards, play Nest Ball, put something on the bench and we lose a card in the hand, sort of thing. It's a great card you can use, supporter. And that's about it. The energies is just 4 fire energy and 8 lightning energy. I'm pretty sure I used to have 3 fire energy, but sometimes, believe it or not, 3 wasn't enough. You can do 3 if you want to be like more carefree, but I go with 4. We actually attach this on things like Raikou EX as well, because if we use Volt Bolt, if he has a fire energy on, he's going to lose 2 energy. If it's all lightning, he loses everything. So that kind of can mean something. So that's the deck, guys. Normally what I do is I put a deck profile and then I put like a game of the deck that I showed off. But in this case, my channel has a lot of games with Rayeels. You can just search for them. I mean, who knows? Maybe just coincidentally, there's going to be a Rayeels deck, a Rayeels match after this deck, but not likely. I don't think so. But there's many games when I use this deck, and I'm going to use a lot in the future, probably unchanged from the way it is like this. So I hope you guys learned something if you don't really know. This deck works great in Expanded. Of course, you do have some harder matchups like Night March. That matchup is not impossible if you get going, but it does have the advantage over you because Rayquaza is really designed to kill big guys in one hit. Night March, the little bitches, Night March bitches only give 1 prize, so it kind of forces you not to use Rayquaza, and things like Raikou are kind of slow. Maybe Zapdos can kill the little Joltik if it has the Fighting Fury belt, but that's one of your harder matchups. Against things like Gardevoir, it's kind of a 50-50. If you set up and you put the energies on, you can knock out Gardevoir in one hit, no problems. Uh, with the Rayquaza ditches the energy too, so that weakens Gardevoir as well. Against pretty much any deck that is from the black and white format and X and Y format, it's fair game. This deck is just great. It's a very good expanded deck if you want to use it, if you want to make it better too. I can't really think of anything else to say. I'm going to do Raybor as well because I've also used that deck a lot and haven't showed a deck profile. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys subscribe. Hope you guys leave a like because that helps. Share this with your friends if they want to learn some cool shit. I did a pretty concise job, I feel like, explaining Rayeels. If you want to try this deck, it's pretty fun. Many people will agree. It's very effective. It's just cool. Anyways, guys, SaberWolf94, what's up?